I'm Cassius Morris. I'm 16 years old and I live in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and I run a podcast called The Cassius Morris Show. I'm also sometimes now a guest on the Carolla Show, a podcast that I'm a huge fan of. And basically I run a weekly podcast. The show comes out every Wednesday for free at cassiusmorris.com, and I like to do music and interview content. I like to interview people from every walk of life, anybody that I find interesting. And then I like to play music as well as much as I can. And sometimes I do solo shows. I pretty much got into it through Kiss. As you can probably see all around me, I'm a huge Kiss fan. And I heard a podcast, it was called Podkissed, and they were obviously about Kiss. So when I heard them, I realized that basically any fan with a computer and something to say could make a podcast. So what I did was I just started talking into the mic about Kiss on the built-in mic on my mom's laptop, holding it up to my face. And eventually that evolved into me having a mic similar to this one, and then a mixer, and then guests. I interviewed 2 members of Kiss, and then next thing you know, I have 2 podcasts, and then next thing you know, I'm starting to build a following, and now my 2 podcasts have merged together. It just kind of, the last 6-7 years have just kind of gone by in a flash. It's been crazy.
Cassius?
Hey Adam, what's up?
16, Alberta, Canada, man.
Yeah, how's it going?
What's going on, Cassius?
I just had a quick question. I wanted to know if you had any advice for up-and-coming podcasters. I'm one of them. I'm looking at making a move from Alberta to LA in a couple of years to pursue this podcasting thing. So do you have any advice for that?
So yeah, I called into the Adam Carolla podcast as a fan, first of all, because I'm a huge fan of Adam. I mean, I listened to his podcast that was probably next to the one I mentioned earlier, Podkiss, the first podcast that I ever listened to. He introduced me to Joe Rogan, which introduced me to a ton of other shows, so I'm a huge fan of Adam. So calling in, I just wanted to know, I literally asked, do you have any advice for an up-and-coming podcaster? And he, in Adam's, normal Adam-like ways, started asking me questions about it, trying to get me to do material, and I almost felt like he was trying to get me to make a mistake, to make it funny.
What do you got? Do you have any material? Do you have any jokes?
I'm getting ready to do my first open mic at the comic strip here in a couple of months, so I'm working on that right now.
Do you have any material at all?
No, I mean, at risk of embarrassing myself on the air,
right.
If I haven't already.
If you're adverse to possible embarrassment through a conversation, a stand-up, comedy, and podcasting may not be the world for you.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, interview Rob Corddry when he comes on. Hot Tub Time Machine, Harold and Kumar, he's in a ton of stuff. So I didn't know his name, but when I saw him, I recognized him. And I was like, well, why wouldn't I do that? Sure, I'll do it.
Cassius, I'm going to give you a second to pull up Rob's IMDb, okay?
Sure.
Or Wikipedia or something. And then form some questions.
Okay.
And then I want you to interview Rob when he comes in. All right, Cassius.
Hey.
Now do you know who Rob Corddry is?
Absolutely.
You did your research?
I did.
Okay, cool.
All right, so I'm just going to count you into this, okay?
Okay.
You're in Alberta, so you're not going to see the finger point, but you're not going to hear the number 1, all right?
Okay.
And 3, 2.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the Cassius Morris Show. I'm your host, Cassius Morris. Today we're joined by Rob Corddry. How you doing, Rob?
Hey, Cassius, it's a pleasure to be on the show. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much. Oh, my pleasure. So my first question is, I know you went to the University of Massachusetts.
That's right.
You were in journalism as a major, but you left after 2 days. Why?
Well, the main reason was probably because I had zero interest in journalism.
And I interviewed him, and I impressed Adam, I think. And he had me on again to talk to him, Allison, and Brian. Then he had me on to talk to Joe Rogan. My mind exploded, being a huge fan of the 2 of them. So if this continues to go somewhere, that's fantastic. And if it doesn't, I'm happy it happened in the first place. You just, I take it as it comes.
Well, all right. I've turned the corner on you, Cassius.
I think Cassius has the goods.
And let me say, Adam, you have an open invitation to my show anytime.
Wow.
I know you would be honored.
We're going to hold you to that, Cassius.
I'm about to give a call to John Dunsworth from Trailer Park Boys, also known as Mr. Lahey. I've got to say I'm pretty intimidated about the whole thing because I watch his show. He's a kind of a polarizing figure, but I talked to his daughter, and I guess I'm just going to give him a call now. He seems like a regular guy. I know he's a great actor, so but I'm still a bit nervous, though. So let's give him a call.
Hello.
Hey, John, this is Cassius.
Hi, Cassius.
How are you?
Good. Where are you?
I'm just at the house right now, and I just figured I'd give you a call. Are you guys at the Jubilee?
Yeah, we're parked out back in a big black bus.
Okay, and when did you want me to come by?
Will you tell me?
Okay, I could come by in about... Are you guys going to be there still in 2 hours?
Yeah.
Okay, so I could do that.
Call me when you're here.
Okay, cool. See you then.
Good.
Okay, so that was interesting. I've never had a guest kind of say, meet me whenever, wherever. The big black bus doesn't help the intimidation part though, but yeah, I guess we're gonna go meet Mr. Lahey. Hey, John. Hey, we're outside. Okay, see you. Simple enough, right? Hey. How you doing?
100%.
Good to see ya.
What's your name?
Cassius.
Cassius, what's your last name?
Morris.
Cassius is doing an interview.
That's right.
Father.
Oh, you're Cassius' father? I'm John.
Yeah.
Pleased to meet you.
So
Can we go in a lounge in here and shoot it? It's an interview? Okay, great.
I appreciate it. Thank you. All right. You lead the way. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with the legendary Canadian actor, Mr. John Dunsworth. How you doing, sir?
Legendary.
That's you.
Thank you.
Do you own it? Do you feel legendary?
No.
Why not?
Because, I guess, probably, sum total of my upbringing. And my dad was a psychiatrist, and I have 10 kids in my family. I was the eldest male, but I always felt I was brought up Catholic, so ingrained in my soul is this, this Catholic guilt.
Do you feel guilty about the show at all, or is it just acting?
Sometimes I'm a little embarrassed, depending. I mean, if somebody came that I really respected and said, "John, you're a prostitute, you're a bastard, you're diminishing yourself. This is debasing you, who you are," then I probably feel guilty.
Mm-hmm. I feel like the show, it gets some flack, as you said, but pretty much what it is below all the dope, all the liquor, there's like a message of friendship. And first of all, why does Lahey keep trying to break up that friendship of Ricky, Julian, and Bubbles? Why is that so important to Lahey?
Why did George Bush screw the world up?
I don't know. I'd like to know.
Well, I think it was the liquor.
It was the liquor.
Yeah, I think it was the liquor. I think there's a certain... how old are you, 18, 17?
16.
16. Well, when you're 21... I mean, you're pretty smart now, but when you're 21, you're going to be at the top of your game intellectually, or capacity-wise, maybe not intellect. But if you take that and then you really frig it up with dope and booze, pretty soon you're going to diminish your capacity. Guess what? I'm an actor. I'm not Mr. Lahey.
But it's funny because I noticed you called Pat Randy earlier.
Yeah.
Is it hard to, because you guys, you look the exact same. I mean, is it hard to I guess for the fans really to separate it.
Yeah.
To realize you're actually human beings.
Well, see, the sad thing is half the time I call Bubbles and not Mike Smith. You know, I do. It's just, and it's an easy crossover, and I'm sure they don't mind. Do you know the most important thing about this?
What's that?
An audience.
Yeah.
That's it. Thank
That's
you
right.
for being our audience.
Yeah, and thank you for doing it. Really appreciate you.
Cassius.
Awesome. Take care, guys. Perfect. That was awesome.
Good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
17 minutes of...
I'm proud of you.
I'm proud of you.
No, I'm proud of you.
So the show tonight's going to be awesome. Thanks again for the tickets. I appreciate it.
There are some people in the world that have a real knack at communicating. And sometimes it's studied, but I had noticed with him that he was totally relaxed and seemed to want to communicate and not to show off and not to express how wonderful he is like I do. But Cassius is, what he's trying to do is share the good word, and I think that's fabulous.
So yeah, I mean, I was so nervous before interviewing John Dunsworth, basically because, you know, I really like his work. And yeah, I was nervous. I get really nervous before interviews. I get nauseous, I get pale, I want to close in, and my body does everything it can to make me avoid the situation. But then I say, screw it. Walk into the situation, and then I sit down and I get a great interview like this. We got 12 minutes of awesome content, and John's a pro. It was great. It was fantastic. Through social media and through knowing people, it's so easy to get an interview if somebody's open to it, and somebody like John who's so so willing to do interviews. I mean, it's fantastic that you can use Twitter, Facebook, and social media. I mean, I used Twitter to get in contact with his daughter after I first met her, and then his daughter got me in contact with him. It's just like a cycle. I love that cycle. If I can do this with John Dunsworth, I can do this with people from bands. Like I just talked to Eric Singer the other day on the phone. I don't see why I can't take this to a higher level. And that's not diminishing anything I've done with any of these guys, but take it to somebody like Gene Simmons, somebody like Joe Rogan. When you realize that all these people are humans, you can go ahead and have a conversation with them. And it doesn't really matter what their resume is. They're just cool people. If they're a cool person, it doesn't matter how famous they are. So I just want to continue doing stuff like this and take it to the next level. I'm always trying to improve things, and like I said, the closer I get to California, it feels like the better it's working. So yeah, I'm really happy about it.